Hello everyone, I am Giselle Joy Olancanan. My topic is all about schema theory. Schema theory, developed by Richard A. Schmidt in 1974 and been published in 1975. Schema theory explains how we learn and perform discrete perceptual motor skills. Discrete motor skills are skills that take a short time to perform, involve using our senses to understand what is happening and using our bodies to take action. Schema theory generalizes the motor program theory in motor control with the use of schema concept. The term schema, originally referred to an abstract representation stored in memory following multiple presentations of a class objects. So schema is a set of rules that generalize, producing movements that can be applied to a variety of contexts. Also, rules that serve to provide the basis for a decision based from related experiences. So, all information from one movement is sent in a single message. The message is received by the muscles which perform the movement. So feedback may or may not be available, but it doesn't control the action. Overall, schema theory is all about the all information needed to make a movement decision. Schema theory emphasizes open-loop control processes and generalized motor program. So when we say open-loop, a decision are made in the brain before performing the skill. Here's the example of schema theory. A schema can be adapted for throwing action, returning a cricket ball to wicketkeeper in cricket, a long pass in netball or basketball, a goalkeeper in football throwing long, throwing a javelin, and playing darts. The next is when individuals make movement, short-term memory stores four things. Number 1, initial movement condition. Example, body position, weight of an object, and step height. So it is the environmental condition at the beginning of the movement, also a mechanism accounting for adaptive and flexible qualities of human movement. Number 2, parameters of a generalized motor program. Parameters are specific movement features that can be varied from one performance of a skill to another. It involves muscle, overall force, and duration are added to movement. Number 3, outcome of the movement in terms of knowledge of results. The outcome of the movement knowledge of results, comparison of the actual and intended outcome. So number 4, intrinsic sensory feedback of the movement. Sensory consequences or feedback of the movement are the example of how it felt, looked, or sounded. Then these four things are abstracted into two schemas, the recall schema and recognition schema. When we say recall schema, it is used before the movement. It selects a specific response and contains rules for producing a movement. Recall schema, the information is stored about determining and producing the desired movement. While recognition schema, it is used during the movement. It evaluates the response's correctness and informs the learner about the errors of a movement. So, recognition schema, the information is stored enabling evaluation of the movement. It adapts sensory information to situation using feedback. How does the schema theory fully work? So, when a schema is used to adapt an existing motor program, there are four essential processes that must be used to make sure that the scheme is effective. These are follows. So, scheme and those schemas which is recall and recognition. So recall follow the initial condition and response specifications, while recognition follow the sensory consequences and response outcomes. Initial conditions. This is where the conditions of the environment need to be recognized before the appropriate schema can be used. This can be summed up with this statement, where we are. So information is gained from the environment. Example, player sees the game situation around them. Then next is the response specifications. The information from the environment is used to assess the available options to the performer. This can be summed up with the statement, what have to do. So the appropriate response is decided upon as a result of initial conditions. So example, player decides type of pass and to which player. The next is the sensory consequences. Sensory consequences concern themselves with the use of senses to help guide the movement. So information from the senses is used to control and apply the movement to the situation. So player gathers information to help adjust the response. Example, player senses how far away the player is and how the pass feels. Then lastly, response outcome. This is the final part will allow to alter motor program based upon the result of the outcome. So player receives information on success of skills. Example, pass is successful and player recognizes this. Here's the limitation of schema theory. Lack of specificity. How the generalized motor programs created. Example, how a person makes first movement before any schema exists. So immediate acquisition of new type of coordination. For example, a centipede will immediately produce a quadrupedal gait pattern after two pairs of limbs are removed. But here's the guidelines for successful learning based on schema theory. First is planning to improve skills, learning or teaching a new skill, calibrating the skill, interpreting mistakes, and put it into live game situations. That was the end of my topic. Thank you for listening.